President Muhammadu Buhari inaugurates University of Uyo prototype hostel donated by NDDC, vows to recover stolen funds. Engineering expert applauds Executive Order 5, calls for full implementation to promote local content. Plus, Minister of Information and Culture highlights achievements of President Muhammadu Buhari administration, emphasizes on infrastructural development. Details in just a moment. Good evening and thanks for joining us on the news. I am Uduak Etam. The Cross River State House of Assembly has passed the 2022 appropriation bill into law, raising the spending plan to 354.5 billion naira, higher than the 276.279 billion naira earlier proposed by the State Governor Ben Ayade. The passage is sequel to the consideration of the report of the House Committee on Finance and Appropriation, presented by its chairman, Mr. Sunday Achunekong. Justina Ethan reports.
Presenting the report, the chairman of the Committee on Finance and Appropriation and member representing Obanliku State constituency says, after consultations with stakeholders, it became pertinent to increase the size of the budget in order to correct shortfalls and consider inflows and expenditure patterns contained in the appropriation bill.
Certain other things came up during the course of our committee work, and certain additions were made. The federal allocation, IGRO, all these sources put together, it is our hope too that grants will come in. So most of these willing donors who have always come to our aid, they will shall come.
After the presentation, the House dissolved to the Committee of the Whole, where amendments were effected in the budget before passing the bill into law.
Aside from the few governmental errors that have been identified, I don't think there is any other further correction. And in the absence of any further correction, I want to appeal to my colleagues that let's go and start action by moving into the executive.
The correction is on page 22. This is a public document that allows us to get the ministry. It could take for Cross River University or University of Cross River.
Speaker, State House of Assembly, Mr. Eteng Williams, explained that the increase is to make plans for some ministries, departments and agencies that were omitted in the initial plan.
If you listen to the report, you discover that there was no provisions for Cross River State University of Technology, which has always been there. Even to receive the funds from third form was not provided. There was no provisions for training for even House of Assembly. There was no provision also for the Office of Auditor General. We started even employing. How do you want them to survive?
Also during plenary, the Cross River State's Child Rights Repeal Bill 2021 was read the first time. In Calabar, Justina Etam, NTA News.
As rains give way for the dry season, efforts of the federal government to complete infrastructural projects across the country is being intensified. The engineering expert and motorist noted is seen along the Calabar to highway as construction work is now in progress, with a deliberate commitment to implementation of Executive Order 5 to promote local content. The report.
Sometimes we come here, we spend 4 or 5 days.
Look at this one now. If not take time, it will fall down. And that will cause more problem every day.
2 years ago, we did protest on this road and contracts were awarded. 2 years down the line, people are still suffering, man-hour being lost on the road.
However, this lamentation will soon be historical as contractors are now fully working at the different portion of the Calabar to Federal Highway. On the condemnation of one of the firms handling the construction work there, engineering expert has this to say.
The barometer to judge the competence or the integrity of any infrastructure is to engage the professionals who are by practice, by knowledge, by learning, by experience, have the competence. The practical assessment of the works will inform if there is capacity or not. If you go to that project today, to that stretch of the road today, you will see Mrs. Sematech Nigerian Limited fully mobilized aside. We have to patronize the Nigerian engineers. We have to give the Nigerian engineers a chance to prove its mettle.
The engineering stakeholder commended President Buhari's Executive Order 5 on local content and appealed to relevant authorities to ensure that the order is fully implemented to encourage and empower indigenous contractors. In Calabar, Uduak Etam, NTA News. Many communities in Calabar threatened by gully erosion have continued to send a silver-soul message to relevant government agencies for intervention at least before the commencement of next raining season. The Eyoita and Esotu communities, all in Calabar municipality, are some of the worst hit communities with gully erosion ravaging the areas. If the situation that is being viewed as a matter of urgency is not checked, may wipe away a greater portion of the community, while the residents will be rendered homeless and helpless. Maureen Leojo has details.
Many communities in Calabar have continued to groan as gully erosion ravages their residents. Gully erosion at Eyo Ita community in Ikot Ansa, Calabar is so disturbing that the residents no longer sleep with their two eyes closed.
The situation here is, I don't even know what to say. I'm just begging the government to help me because I cannot sleep with my eyes closed anytime that I hear rain falling. It's only this time that we have this dry season that I just breathe. But whenever rain falls, I don't sleep with my eyes.
This environment when we are here is so bad with the children. You know, there is a school. During the rainy season, children cannot pass.
According to the residents, the path was a major road linking the area to other parts of the community. Erosion started gradually and now has taken a chunk of their land, including some residential houses. Due to the impact of the expanding erosion, the community undertook some intervention measures. But the pressure of the water running through the erosion site will always lead to a failed attempt.
Like New Map, they have come here before, they surveyed this place, they told us that they have made the design, and they gave us all assurance. But certainly they came and said they have a serious challenge where they are facing more challenges than us, and they left.
This started in 2000, and look at what has happened to us in less than 11 years. Government should channel revenue. If you live here and go across Parliamentary Station, now behind you, the King, you see another ravine there. It has started developing now. The government should please channel the ecological fund that is released to states and federal into these rules, into these ravines, and try to help us. Now, if this is done, another one in Esotu, like you've mentioned, the one I've told you is across behind you, the King here, that's already developing. If those things are done, the roads are constructed, what we need here, fill this place for us, do the gutter for us. It will help us.
There was a time we taxed ourselves 60,000 naira each. We filled this with a lot of laterite and made it up with concrete. But only the first rain, the whole effort was washed away.
Efforts to reach the Nigeria Erosion and Watershed Management Project New Map, who is saddled with this responsibility, have always been unsuccessful. The people are, however, hopeful that the federal and state ministries of environment, whom they have made efforts to reach, will consider addressing the situation at least before the commencement of the next rainy season. In Calabar, Maureen Leo Ajom, NTA News.
As the year 2021 gradually winds down, Nigerians say they are hopeful that 2022 will bring fortunes for the state and the country, while also calling for prayers for the nation to achieve greater heights. Maureen Liwaj, report.
COVID-19, no doubt, has a huge impact on the economy of Nigeria, with Cross River State not exempted, but observers say palliative measures taken and provided to the people would have relatively cushioned the impact and make life meaningful to the citizenry.
Nigeria should come first. No single Nigeria is more Nigeria than any other Nigeria. We must fight sincerity of purpose. And I know very well that greatness has nothing to do with age, size, or height, but it has a lot to do with attitude. We must redefine our attitude. Let Nigeria speak first before us.
Respondents rather bemoan the attitude of executors of government policies, whom they noted manage the available funds and palliatives for selfish purposes. The respondents also bear their minds about happenings in the state within the year 2021.
Some of us had thought that 2022 will be actually the year that political activities will kick off. But it had to start very early. All of us need to pray to God that whoever will succeed him will be able to put the state back on track.
Environmentally, if you just take a drive around town, Calabar was once the cleanest city in Nigeria. Today, why are we? Because the same agencies that do now used to work, are they not alive?
However, respondents are hopeful that the year 2022 will be a better year. In Calabar, Maureen Liu Ajom, NTA News.
You are still watching Nta Calabar News at 7. You can equally watch this newscast on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/NTA Calabar. The news continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back and thanks for being there. And now to the rest of our bulletin. Rice is a staple served in the homes of most Nigerian families, and despite the ban on importation by federal government, the demand for the food item seems to be more than the supply by local farmers, leading to high price of rice in the market. To solve this problem, correspondent Paul Abel spoke with some rice value chain players on cultivation and production of rice to increase availability and boost the earning power of those involved in the production and processes of the commodity.
Rice production at the grassroots is mostly by traditional methods, and these may not be unconnected with the limited output by local farmers to the Nigerian market, making the commodity expensive. For the rice producers and other key players in the value chain to have higher revenue for their labor, stakeholders advocate a paradigm shift from traditional methods of production to a mechanized system.
If we're talking about self-sufficiency in food production in our country, Nigeria, then one very important aspect that we must do, the government must do, is to encourage the local farmers to produce rice locally, and then to also encourage them by subsidizing the costs of production and also to provide the necessary facilities.
It is time we need machineries so that we can go out from 10 hectares to 100 hectares, from 100 hectares to 1,000 hectares that you can use a helicopter to supervise. We need planter, we need harvester, we need transplanting machine. These are the things that will make agriculture. Even a medical doctor will be in love to be a rice farmer.
It's a time to reassure rice farmers that come out, farm, you are going to benefit, and the government is there to equally help out. And there is this legal framework that will ever ensure that everybody is covered.
We appreciate the good handwork of President Muhammadu Buhari. He has helped us in so many ways, especially in the agri sector. But I believe so far, some of the people standing between the farmers and the central bank, they have not really done the necessary thing to ensure that farmers are adequately empowered.
They also suggest on how to make the commodity available and at affordable rate for the local market.
People must learn not to surrender farming, especially in rice value chain, to the older women and men. We want to embrace youth to come into agriculture. We want to embrace young and old to come into agriculture. This agriculture is going to a higher height.
The farmers keep themselves into clusters, complain through their medium, and get what they really want. If they produce, the government should be able to buy back from them. When the government buy back from them at a very, very good rate, where the farmers will have some good things to themselves, then the government, at the end of the day, give it out at a subsidized rate to the entire populace of Nigeria. That will help to improving the life. That will help to improving the life of the farmers. That will also help to crash down the price rate of rice production in Nigeria.
When people know more about this commodity and how it is done, then we can queue in and make a lot of it for the general public.
It takes about 450 to 500,000 naira to clear a single hectare of land. But if the government can help us to clear the lands for us, we will do the magic of producing rice cheaply, efficiently, and effectively at about 5 tons per hectare, because this is the South-South. We have the manpower, we have the lands, and we also have the passion to make it happen.
These concerned Nigerians are optimistic that things will get better with proper implementation and patience by Nigerians. In Calabar, Paul Abel, Nta News.
Despite the challenges accompanied in the year 2021, President Muhammadu Buhari administration has recorded various laudable achievements in various sectors of the nation in the midst of the struggle against COVID-19. This was stated at a press conference hosted by the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed. One of the major challenges faced by the administration is security, which paved way for the establishment of various operations by the armed forces of Nigeria to combat insecurity in various regions of the country, which recorded resounding successes, followed by recovery of the nation's economy, adversely affected by the onslaught of COVID-19 pandemic, but revamped by the passage and signing into law of the Petroleum Industry Act, which serves operational regulation of the upstream, midstream, and downstream sector of the oil industry. Other achievements highlighted by the minister includes infrastructure works and housing, aviation, information and communication technology sector, and national social investment programs to cater for the teeming youths. President Muhammadu Buhari has vowed to ensure that every kobo mismanaged or diverted during what he called the serial abuse of the Niger Delta Development Commission is recovered for use in service of the people in the region. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that inaugurating the NDDC prototype hostel at the University of Uyo virtually, the president also said all those found culpable shall face the law. The ultra-modern hostel complex built and donated to the University of Uyo by NDDC renews confidence that the forensic audit, which has been completed and currently being reviewed for necessary action, had achieved one of its core objectives. The completion of the structure is equally in recognition of the importance government attaches to providing quality housing and improved education for all Nigerians. The prototype university hostel consists of 1,050 bed spaces. Nigeria Football Federation has endorsed the technical committee proposal for the appointment of Jose Peseiro as the new head coach of the Super Eagles. This is one of the decisions reached at the end of the executive committee meeting held via video conference on Wednesday. Jose Peseiro is a 61-year-old Portuguese whose last coaching job was Venezuela and will succeed Gennard Rohr, who was sacked recently. The committee, however, resolved that the interim head coach will lead the Super Eagles to the AFCON 2021 in Cameroon, with Peseiro playing the role of observer. The executive committee mandated the Technical and Development Committee, as well as the NFF Secretariat, to organize a friendly match for the Super Eagles when the team arrives for the AFCON 2021. The God who waits from creation B has been waiting hasn't up. Open your heart and receive him through repentance. The charge came from the officiating minister of the True Gospel Church of God, Reverend Daniel Essien, during the funeral service held in honor of late Deaconess Princess Atomokondem at her compound, number 3 and 7 Ekenita Street, Calabar South. Benny Achibo reports.
The remains of late Deaconess Atomokondem was laid to rest in her hometown, Calabar South, Calabar. The officiating minister urged the congregation to practicalize Christianity within the short span of man's existence.
Have you done anything wrong? Have you ever perceived that you've done something wrong? Were you sorry about it, or are you sorry about it right now? There's a God that is waiting for you.
In her biography, Princess Atomokondem, fondly called Maipa, was described as a jewel to behold, a woman of great valor with a tremendous virtue, a devoted Christian
who was also a silent philanthropist who impacted lives of so many positively.
I thank God for today. God has made it possible for us. There is no rain, food are here, drinks, food, all what you talk of, they are here. So I so much give God the glory.
Nothing like stepmother. Your mother is a mother. A mother who carry you in the womb for 9 months. Nobody can replace that. She took care of us single-handedly when our father died. My father died when I was just 2 years. Ma made me to be who I am today. Ma gave me a job, gave me education, gave me everything I needed.
To take heart, they should take heart. For it's our part, it's a route that all of us have to pass. For death is such an inevitable end. All of us have to die one day. Just like all of us were born, one day we must surely die.
Top government functionaries, associates, and prominent personalities, including the General Manager, Nta Calabar, Sam Olalode, and the entire Nta Calabar family, pay tribute to the deceased.
I want to thank God for her, thank God for all the children, and we pray, may her get to soul rest in perfect peace. And for those of us he left behind, we pray God to sustain us, give us the grace to bear this painful loss.
One of us has been able to bury her mother successfully. It is just very right for a child to bury the parents. And that's why we have come to rally around her to condole and celebrate. The woman, by the grace...
It is only those that has found favor in the sight of God that can testify for long life in their family. So I thank God that He showed His children the good parts of life.
The remains of the deceased were interred to Mother Earth for eternal rest. She is survived by 6 children, grandchildren, and a host of relatives to mourn her demise. Arundem of the News and Current Affairs Department of NTA Calabar is the daughter of the deceased. In Calabar, Benia Chibong, NTA News.
And to end the news, a recap of the major stories. President Muhammadu Buhari has inaugurated University of Uyo prototype hostel donated by NDDC and vowed to recover stolen funds. Engineering expert has applauded Executive Order 5 and called for full implementation to promote local content. It was also in the news that the Minister of Information and Culture has highlighted achievements of President Muhammadu Buhari administration and emphasized on infrastructural development and security. That is it on our news tonight. Thanks for watching. Good night.